Hi guys, thank you for tuning in today. My name is Ben Rendell. I am a business management graduate here at the Ocado Group. Um, Today we're just going to be giving you a flavour of kind of what it's like working at Ocado, what we can offer you, to see if you guys are the right fit for us, as well as if we're the right fit for you. Um, so my first rotation is in the emerging talent team, and that is in charge of the recruitment of all of our new grads for the scheme starting next September in 2023. Presumably that's the cohort that you guys are going to be looking to enter too. So today we're just going to a very relaxed rundown of what we can offer you guys, and I'll now pass to my manager Harpreet.
Hi everyone, thanks everyone for joining today. As Ben said, today is more about us just giving you a bit of a flavour about who we are here at Ocado, and a little bit more information around some of the grad programs that we have on offer that we are currently recruiting for. So we're just going to go into that in a little bit more detail as well, and then an exciting Q&A at the end where we'll hopefully get through a lot of your questions. But yes, super excited to be talking about us as a business and specifically our grad programs as well, which hopefully you'll all be interested in. So I'll hand over to Fayaz to do his introduction now.
Hey guys, my name's Fez. I'm a graduate on the software engineering graduate program. So I'm a year in. So I'm onto my third rotation. So I've got a bit more experience than Ben, and I'll hopefully be able to tell you guys about the software engineering program. And if you have any questions about that, you can direct them at me at the end.
Perfect, guys. So yeah, we'll now get into the presentation. Just if you've got any questions, please feel free to put them into the chat. And as I said, we'll run through this presentation now, and then we'll go through all of your questions at the end, and answer everything for you. So the Emerging Talent Group, who are Ocado? So it's a common misconception that Ocado are sort of solely a UK-based retailer. That is not the case. That is what we started out as around 22 years ago now, in 2000. Started out as a retailer. But it's really branched and moving on from that now. It's much more of a technology and solutions provider. There's something called the Ocado Smart Platform, which is effectively our end-to-end technology of how we can sell our processes to other companies and help them to deliver their goods. For instance, we're partnered with Morrisons, so we take charge of all of their sort of delivery processes, whether that be sort of their apps for ordering, their vans, and kind of their delivery routes, and all the picking in the warehouses, etc. And whereas before it was kind of started in the UK, we actually have around 11 global partners now. So the Ocado technology is really growing around the globe, and we hope there's a lot more growth to come as well.
Cool. Thank you, Ben. I absolutely love this slide because I think this just visually gives everyone a clearer picture of who we are. So with me and Ben currently in the talent acquisition team, we're always going through applications and hearing what people think, who people think Ocado are. So this, I think, just screams volumes. So this gives everyone a clearer understanding of who our global partners are. So you'll see two in the UK there, who are Ocado Retail and Morrisons. So a lot of people do get us confused with Ocado Retail. So we are Ocado Group. So Ocado Retail are one of our UK customers, and so are Morrisons. And then you've got Kroger in the US, you've got Sobeys in Canada, and yeah, so and it goes on and on. So there's a lot there for everyone to take in, I appreciate, but I hope this slide kind of visually just gives you guys an understanding that these are our customers across the globe. So these are the customers that have chosen our technology to allow them to have an online platform, really. So they are using our technologies, and we're always looking to grow and expand globally as well. So as Ben mentioned, we're no longer that UK online grocery retailer. We're definitely more of a technology solutions provider, and this will give you a flavour of some of the customers that we have. But yeah, some really exciting ones there, maybe some names that you guys may recognise as well, which is, yeah, super exciting.
Yeah. And so why the Ocado graduate programme? Well, first off, we are up and coming technology company. I think this really lends itself to sort of, in the past, having been retail, but making this transition. So we really want to drive home that sort of the retail business, the retail side of Ocado, when you see sort of the Ocado and the vans driving around you as you would in the UK, that is one of our customers effectively. So at the Ocado Group, we're selling sort of the Ocado Smart Platform and this end-to-end automation specifically. So I joined the grad scheme in the September just gone, and there were 121 graduates joining over 7 different schemes, and we'll come on to the schemes later on. But you'll find that you really are given sort of autonomy and responsibility from day one, which is something that I don't think you'll find very many places. There's a colossal variation of rotations. Just to give you a little flavor, so there's 4 rotations on the business management scheme, which again we'll go into more detail later on. But I actually had 65 options to choose from when choosing my first rotation. So I think that gives you kind of an idea of the scale of the business as well. Furthermore, a competitive salary with a whole list of benefits that we've got a slide to go through later on, and also a hybrid working pattern. So pre-COVID, I think Ocado used to be very set, like kind of you in the office every day. But post-COVID, obviously, companies had to start to adapt. And Ocado's really taken this into their stride, adopting sort of a hybrid working pattern. On top of this as well, there's also 30 days a year where all staff at Ocado can work from anywhere. So we have a lot of kind of international employees that enjoy kind of utilizing this work from anywhere time, and then putting a little bit of holiday on the end so they can go back to perhaps their home country or see family that live abroad. So yeah, it's a really great place to work.
Cool. And here we've got a nice little slide for you guys to see some of the benefits of working at Ocado Group as well. So for me, leading the talent acquisition team for emerging talent, so I look after everything internships, apprenticeships and graduates. So my team look after all recruitment across all of those areas. I love talking about all of the benefits that we can offer. So Ben highlighted a few there, which is absolutely amazing, especially kind of the hybrid working, which I'm sure will be attractive to most of you. Because Ocado Retail are one of our customers, we do offer all of our employees Ocado Group 15% off discount. So I shop on Ocado and I find that very beneficial. And you also get free delivery on Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays. We also have Discounts Plus, which is our dedicated discounts platform where you can get things like buy instant vouchers, reloadable cards, and you can kind of beat those cards are for kind of hundreds of your favorite retailers, but the choices are endless on there. We've got an enhanced pension scheme where we will match anything up to 7%. We've also got an employee assistance program as well, which is super beneficial. A digital BP as well, and some other benefits kind of include a car salary sacrifice, a cycle to work scheme, and a dental insurance scheme as well. So yes, some of them are just mentioned on there, but this just kind of gives you a flavour of some of the other discounts you would get on top of, you know, your competitive salary and some of the bits that Ben just noted there. So hopefully this will give you a flavour of that as well.
Perfect, guys. And then on top of that, Ocado offer a buddy scheme. Now, with myself joining in the September just gone, wow, it's flying by. I've been here sort of 6-7 weeks now. But I actually received my offer in the February of this year. So that is quite a substantial length of time. And especially you could receive an offer as early as sort of November, depending on when your assessment centre is. And so at Ocado, we're kind of looking into that process, and sort of you could spend sort of 10 months having sort of knowing you were starting a job in the following September, but not really having any sort of correspondence or kind of keep in touch strategy with your future employer. And so we kind of developed this buddy scheme, which I would say has really helped. And so my cohort of graduates found it useful, just like simply asking questions about the scheme, sort of placements. As I alluded to earlier, sort of there were 65, potential options for myself. And so I just quickly scheduled in a call with my buddy and just sort of asked him what ones he had done, what ones he had heard were good, and sort of you could get a much more detailed sort of account of the rotations. Speaking to someone that's actually been doing the grad scheme is so helpful. And as well as that, I organised a call with my buddy before joining Ocado to sort of discuss living arrangements and the commute, what he found useful. And it was just a great sort of support and advice network for me and for all the other graduates. Obviously, it's a really daunting time starting a new job. And so here at Ocado, we want to make the transition as seamless as possible, really. And so that's the main reason for offering this buddy scheme, just to make sure that sort of our new recruits are eased into the role and sort of feel as comfortable as possible.
Cool. Thanks, Ben. And we just wanted to also show you guys this slide as well, just to give you a flavour of some of the business areas that we have. Totally appreciate some of this terminology wouldn't mean a lot, but if you did just see it in the external market. So just wanted to go into a little bit more detail of some of the business areas we have here at Ocado. So we have a business area called platform implementation. So what that team does is they orchestrate the implementation of Ocado Group's platforms globally. So they would work once we have a customer signed up globally that wants to work with us and wants to kind of use our technology solution, they would look at all of the implementation and the logistics of that. And then we have a business area called client services. What they do is they support, maintain and optimize Ocado Group's platforms wherever they are deployed. So if we sign a deal with a customer and our platform implementation team have gone in and implemented what we needed to implement and what we promised, our client services team will always be there to ensure that that is always maintained moving forward. So they're there for the foreseeable future with that customer to make sure everything's maintained. We also have a business area called Ocado Solutions. So they are the team that work pretty much globally and in the UK as a technology solutions provider for the online grocery retailers that we want to work with. And they're responsible for the growth of our business and our client success. So what they will essentially also do is they have a team that will also work with potential customers that are interested in working with us to ensure that those deals are kind of brought through, and so that they would work with those potential customers as well, globally and as I said in the UK. Then we also have our very large Ocado technology team who create and support Ocado Group's pioneering automated technology platforms. So that all happens within that space. Then we've also got Ocado Logistics, who operate and optimize Ocado Group's platforms in the UK to deliver maximum client and customer value. So their focus is very much on our logistics business in the UK. And then we have another business area called Ocado Group Operations, who provide strategic direction, dedicated services, intelligence and governance to shape Ocado Group as a whole. So kind of areas that you'd have within Ocado Group Operations would be areas such as the people team, the finance team, the kind of legal teams. It's all of those kind of typically support functions that businesses would have. So yeah, we just wanted to give you an idea of some of the key kind of business areas that we have in the business as a whole.
Perfect. Thank you, Harps. And then moving on to the schemes that we are offering and recruiting for this year. We've got the business management scheme, the people scheme, engineering scheme, software eng, which Faz is a graduate in, so he'll be able to give you a super detailed overview of that. The analyst scheme, the finance scheme, and the user experience scheme. All of these are open currently, apart from the analyst scheme. So you guys will be able to go away and apply for all of them, apart from analyst at the moment, but the opening date is coming soon, is to be confirmed, and we'll let you know. But all of our other schemes are currently open and we are taking applications. We'll now go on to a more detailed overview of all the individual schemes. Do you want me to take this one, Harps?
Yes, probably makes sense. Ben. As Ben is on the business management scheme, it makes total sense for Ben to talk through the scheme that he's on. Yeah.
Perfect. So the business management scheme, it's 24 months long. and it's split into 4 6-month rotations. Now I know 6 months seems like a long time, but it will go by super quick. But it will give you a detailed kind of overview. And I really like kind of the idea of the 4 6-month rotations around the business. They're all kind of, all the areas are interlinked but different at the same time. Like all of the areas at Ocado kind of work together, but it will give you a different perspective on what working at Ocado is like. So the first one up is Group Ops and Client Services. That is what I'm currently in at the moment. So sitting in the emerging talent team, the recruitment side of it, and kind of recruiting our next year's grads, and also working with targetjobs as well, to kind of market our schemes. There's also platform implementation, solutions and technology, and logistics. Now these are pretty set. You will do 1 6-month rotation through all of them. But as I alluded to earlier, so when I was coming, I made my choices around July time, and I literally had 65 choices. Now they were split pretty much equally, sort of around 10 to 15 in each area. But that kind of gives you a kind of a good insight into how large the business is, and also how much variety there is, and sort of I don't think anyone will sort of do the same route around the grad scheme, doing the same rotations. It really does give you a holistic view of Ocado. It's predominantly based in Hatfield. Now this is sort of just outside of North London, for those of you who don't know. We have got other offices such as Welwyn Garden City, and also an office in London. And again, as we mentioned earlier, we are a global company. I know a friend of mine that started at the same time. He actually got to go to Paris in his second week of working at Ocado. That was just, he was in the solutions team, and that was kind of just where his team was heading that week. And they were out there looking at one of the new CFCs that's just about to launch. A CFC, for you who don't know, is a customer fulfillment center. That is kind of where our robotics and automated processes are taking place. And that is where the orders are kind of packed and then dispersed from there. Obviously, as we mentioned earlier, the hybrid working, that is the same for the business management scheme, kind of 30 days work from anywhere in the world. And then it's normally 2 to 3 days in the office, and then you can work from home for the rest of the week. But this really does depend on sort of your team. It can vary, but the rough guide is sort of 2 to 3 days in the office, and then the rest of the week at home. As we mentioned as well, sort of responsibility from day one. You're not sort of eased into it. You're not seen as a grad or anything. You really are given opportunities to lead from the word go. And that's something that sort of really helps you to grow as well, chucks you into the deep end somewhat. And the only requirement we have for the business management scheme is that you have a degree. It can be in any subject and from any university. So yeah, that is our business management scheme. As we said, any questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat. I will answer them at the end.
Thank you, Ben. So I will let Fires take talking around software engineering, just because he's currently on that scheme at the moment, and to give you guys a little bit more information around that specific scheme and his experience.
Yep, thanks, Hop. So software engineering is quite similar to business management in that it's a 2-year scheme, and it's split into 4 6-month rotations. The rotations are all within Ocado technology. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 that are within Ocado Group, but the majority are within technology, and you'd be rotating within the departments in technology. Those are e-commerce, logistics and supply chain, advanced technology, and control systems. We have hybrid working as well. So most of the teams that I've been in, well, all of them have been in the office 2 days a week. If you're working on a hardware placement, you might need to be in a bit more just to be on site and work with the hardware itself. But the majority of the teams will be 1-2 days a week in the office. So our most placements will be in Hatfield. So that's our headquarters. my first placement was in Hatfield, working on control systems. So that was working with the bots on the grid. We worked on the software that controlled them. That was a really interesting placement, and it was a great way to learn and be introduced to Ocado as a company, because that's the heart of the Ocado Smart Platform, which is the solution that we offer. So we've also got offices in Welwyn Garden City and in London, which is where I am right now. In Welwyn, we have advanced technology, which deals with things like the robot arms that we work on. It has all the robotics labs, and there's loads of placements there that you could do. London has mainly supply chain, which determines how the stock goes from warehouses to customer houses. We optimize that process. That's what supply chain is. And in terms of the degree that you might have done before coming to Ocado for the software engineering graduate scheme, I did computer science, but you don't have to have done computer science. There are grads that have done physics, maths, robotics, and things like that. I know grads that have done engineering as well. So there's a wide range of things that you can have done, and they will most placements will train you up for whatever you'll be working on, whatever language. If you don't have any experience with that language, they'll teach it to you while on the job. So it's really it's very flexible in terms of what you can do if you want to learn something new. I've done placements in 3 completely different areas, and I've learned loads from those placements. So I've completed 2 full placements. Right now I'm on my 3rd one, and they couldn't be more different from each other. But I think that's what's helped me learn the most. I would recommend doing placements that are very different to each other, because that's how you can go around the business and see all the different areas and understand what it is you want to do, and even more importantly, what it is you don't want to do, because that's the point of the whole graduate scheme, is to figure out what you like, what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy, what you might want to do in the future. So examples of placements. So you can do product management if that's something that you're interested in. There's e-commerce, which is dealing with the web shop. So it's like web development and front end design as well as a bit of back end. Simulation and visualization. This is an area that I don't have much experience with, but it looks very interesting. Advanced technology. So this is my last placement. I did a placement in computer vision. So that was working with cameras on the robot arms that allowed it to take pictures of the containers and segment the objects so that the arm could go down and grasp everything properly. That was really interesting. I'd recommend a placement in advanced technology as well. And finally, infrastructure. Yeah, that's a general overview of the scheme. And if you have any questions, just pop them in the chat and I will answer them at the end.
Thank you so much, Boris. That was super helpful to give everyone a bit more insight about software engineering. So just to also give you guys, if we just go back, yeah, perfect. So just to give you guys just a really quick overview of engineering. So we also have an engineering scheme. Similar to business management and software engineering, this is also a 2-year scheme that's split into 4 6-month rotations. Rotations for engineering can be across platform implementation and technology. And based on any previous experience you have, you'll be assigned your first rotation and your second rotation on the other side of the business. So, but your third and fourth, you're free to kind of pick yourself. You'll have a lot of site experience within engineering as well. So it will give you guys definitely an opportunity to present achievements to other grads if you were to go onto our engineering scheme. But we'll kind of give you guys the link at the end as well to our careers website, where it has a lot more detail about the specific schemes as well. But very much like the other 2 schemes, that it's a 2-year scheme split into those 4 6-month rotations.
Perfect. Thank you, Harps. Moving on as well, we've got the analyst scheme. Do remember that just for this moment in time, the analyst scheme is not open yet. However, it will be open soon. And Again, it's a 2-year scheme split into 4 6-month rotations, designed to sort of move you around the business and give you a holistic view of Ocado as a whole. The analyst day to day will be sort of applying their insight and analytics to commercial problems. This can be sort of within the CFCs, sort of seeing how the bots are moving, analyzing data and stuff like that all over the business. And the following teams that you could be within are sort of supply chain analytics, business planning, central excellence, and also client services. Again, you will benefit from sort of hybrid working, sort of spending 2 to 3 days in the office and being able to work from home for the rest. Moving on as well, the finance scheme. Now, this is a 3-year scheme, slightly longer, and you only rotate 3 times. So you rotate once a year. The first rotation is actually sort of allocated to you, and then moving on to your second year, you'll have choices such as sort of financial planning, linking with the analyst scheme analysis, or accounting as well. And then in your final year, you'll be a finance business partner. Alongside this, you will be able to gain qualifications such as CIMA or your ACCA, utilizing the sort of the online university as well. So again, yeah, that's a 3-year scheme, and you will be able to get your CIMA qualification alongside as well.
Perfect. Thanks for that, Ben. And then we also have these 2 schemes that are also live on our website currently as well, which is our user experience, so our UX team, which sits within our technology division as well. Again, that's a 2-year scheme split into 4 6-month rotations across our UX teams in Ocado Technology. Some of the placement examples are e-commerce, our warehouse or CFC systems, logistics, supply chain, and our central UX team. The team where you kind of would be based location-wise for this could differ between our Hatfield head office or our customer fulfilment centres. You'll also have hybrid working within our user experience teams as well. But yeah, just to give you a flavour of some of the placements that you could do there, they're just listed out there. And then we also have our people graduate scheme, which for some of you, we use the terminology people within Ocado, but it typically is a HR scheme. This is a 2-year scheme. There's an opportunity to take on a range of placements within our people function. Each rotation would enable you to take on various generalist and specialist roles. So I think, you know, people who do have or graduates that do have a passion for HR or a people function typically want to go down a generalist or a specialist role. This will give you a flavour of both of those. And the other massive benefit with being on a people graduate programme is being enrolled onto a CIPD level 5 qualification. So we will fully support you through that as well. So you could find yourself taking on a number of roles within our people graduate scheme, including a HR advisory role within one of our business functions. So you could be working with one of our business functions really closely and be more of a HR advisory role, or a placement within one of our different specialist teams, such as a placement within our diversity and inclusion team, our wellbeing team, or our internal communications team. We also have a reward team and a talent and leadership team as well. So just to give you a flavour on top of kind of the typical HR business areas that you may think of, you know, the D&I team sits within the people function, our wellbeing team sits within there, who are working on some amazing initiatives at the moment. So you could be involved in all of that if you were to join our people scheme as well.
Perfect. Thank you for that, Harps. Now, so moving on, we've covered all of the schemes. We can now go through the application process. So starting off, all applicants will be required. So you can go via our careers website. And basically, previously, we used to require sort of you attach your CV and a cover letter, and sort of that was it. But this year, so you attach your CV, and then we've got 2 motivational questions. And so the first one is, why Ocado Group? What motivates you to apply to the Ocado Group? And the secondly is concerned with your motivations for joining that specific scheme. Now, sort of, this is really important when we're looking at applications, because we want sort of candidates that are passionate and kind of have done their research on Ocado. And so I'd certainly advise sort of beforehand looking up sort of what we're about, as you can take some notes from today. Sort of a technology and solutions provider globally. We tend to get a lot of applications that sort of describe us as solely a UK-based retailer. We tend to shy away from those ones. So we're really looking for sort of good level of research, and that you've done your homework, and that you want to join us and kind of know what we're about, and then sort of what you'll find beneficial about that scheme in particular as well. Moving on, so if successful at the first stage of online application, you'll be invited to do a test. Now, this can vary depending on your scheme. I know that software engineering grads, as Faz could probably tell you, there is slightly different to the other schemes in that they're sent a codility test, obviously to test your coding abilities. But for the other schemes, you'll be sent an online test that sort of measures your cognitive abilities, and as well as memory, and sort of it gives us a score of sort of how well you've done on those tests. And then following on from that, if successful at the second stage, you'll be invited to do a video interview. Now, this is sort of a one-way interview where the question will flash up on the screen. You'll sort of have a little bit of time to prepare an answer, and then sort of 2 minutes to 3 minutes to talk into your camera on your laptop. And we will then be kind of fired over your video interview. Again, here we're sort of looking for like motivational factors. We want someone who's kind of passionate about Ocado, they've done their research, kind of someone that knows we're not just a UK retailer, we're sort of global. It's always good to sort of mention one of our international partners as well. It just really shows that kind of you as an applicant care, and that you've done your research, and kind of you want this role, and that you're not just copy and pasting a generic bit of text into a load of grad scheme applications in the hope that you get lucky. We're really after people that are kind of passionate about Ocado and want to be here for the right reasons. And then our final stage of application is the virtual assessment centre. Now, for the foreseeable future, all of our assessment centres will be virtual. Sort of being an international company and attracting an international cohort, we find it's far more accessible for our applicants if our assessment centres take place virtually, and they seem to go just as well as before when they're in person. It normally involves 2 group activities. Now, do bear in mind that this can vary depending on your scheme again, but I know certainly for the business management scheme, there's 2 group activities, and then there is another individual activity with a presentation and a one-to-one interview with an Ocado employee. And so that is our application process. Again, any questions, please do put them in the chat and we'll answer them for you.
Perfect. Thank you, Ben. I don't think we can hear you, Ben.
Can you hear?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah. Okay, good. I think my camera's just still going. I don't know.
No worries. Great technical issues, but that's fine. So I think we can head over to the Q&A now, if that's okay with everyone. So we've got some really, really cool questions that have come through. So thanks for those, guys. And thank you for everyone who's saying hello. Hello to everyone as well. We really appreciate you all for taking time out and joining us. So yeah, thank you for that. So I'm just going to head over and get some of the questions that you guys have asked. And are you okay?
Yeah, sure.
Perfect. I can hear you now. Yeah.
Perfect. We'll go from the top.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, as Harp said, just thanks for all the hello, guys. It's lovely to speak to you all. It's a shame that we can't see your faces, but hopefully you can see ours and hear ours. So we'll just start with the first question. Hello, Ben, Harpreet and Faz. I'm Lucy, a third-year economics student at UCL. how's your experience been working for Ocado Group as a fast-growing company, and how has it differed from any other experiences you have? I can start off with a kind of a brief. Obviously, this is my sort of my first job post university. It's certainly what I thought it would be, and more. I think I'm not. I know everyone says it, but sort of everyone is so nice at Ocado. There's a really relaxed kind of culture. I think you'll see quotes on sort of our website and stuff about how our CEO Tim Steiner really likes to sort of adopt the startup culture. He believes that this kind of drives innovation and change, and people are always wanting to get better as well. Now, I'm not sure if Harps can give anything else on sort of having worked elsewhere as well and how it compares.
Yeah, so I mean, I've always worked in the recruitment talent acquisition space. That was my career when I left university many years ago. So I've been at Ocado coming up to 7 years. So Lucy, thank you for your question. Firstly, it's a great question to ask. In terms of my experience of working for Ocado as a fast-growing company, so when I joined Ocado, it was very much a UK online grocery retailer. So when I joined, it was very, very much a different business to what it is now. So I've seen that transition go through. How has it differed from other businesses I've worked in? I'll be completely honest, it's the most fast-paced business I've worked with. If you guys like change, and if you guys like to work within change where things can change every single day, all the time, it's not structured in terms of, we don't have a structure for every single piece of work that we may do, but somehow we use our autonomy and our skills to kind of devise stuff and pull stuff together. So I think it's definitely differed in terms of it's pulled on some of my skills in terms of working in an area that changes so rapidly, and in an area where I'm able to use a lot of my autonomy as well. Like Ben said earlier, you're given responsibilities from day one, and the business has completely changed from when I first joined. So yeah, I've loved every single minute of it though. So I'll hand over to Faiz to answer that question as well.
Yeah, thanks, Hobbs. I definitely agree with Ben in that it's because it's my first job as well, straight out of uni. I compared to my internships, I did a couple of internships in the summers during my uni, and it couldn't be more different just because those were at much smaller companies and they were more slow moving, not as fast paced. Whereas at Ocado, especially when you're doing a graduate scheme, you're switching placements every 6 months. You're learning so many different things. You're meeting so many new people. It's nothing like anything that I've experienced before. And that's what I would say.
Perfect. Thanks for that, Faiz. So just going on to the next one then. So there's I can see there's quite a few questions about sponsorship and PSW. So just to cover all of those questions off, we do offer sponsorship across all of our grad programs. So please don't let that put you off applying. Please still apply. We do offer sponsorship. So if you are interested in a role, and because we are able to offer sponsorship, please don't let that put you off. Please still make the application.
Definitely. And then next question.
I think the next one was around for the software engineering scheme. I would like to know what the recruitment process is like. Do we need to do a coding test? Faiz, if you have, I don't know if you've got anything else to add to that, but just to let this candidate know that yes, we have a coding test for the software engineering scheme. Anything else you'd like to add for that, Faiz, at all?
Yes, so we have that codidity thing that you mentioned, Ben.
Yeah.
And then at the assessment day as well, we've got a live coding challenge, and that'll be you and with two senior developers that will be working with you to solve a problem. And it won't be on a whiteboard because I'm not in person, but it'll be on like a shared coding editor.
Perfect. We are loving all of the questions coming through. This is amazing. So the The next one, I'm just going to I think Tasnim, thanks for your question. So what sets Ocado apart from its competitors, and did the company culture or your role attract you to Ocado? So I can kick off on that. I think what sets Ocado apart from its competitors is we're doing something really unique. We're developing something very unique ourselves. I think that sets us apart completely. Everything we offered is developed ourselves internally by our technology teams, by our amazing technology that we develop ourselves. So I think that definitely sets us apart. We're doing something that's completely groundbreaking, and to have that all developed under one roof ourselves, I think is amazing. Did the company culture or your role attract you to Ocado? I think for me, it was a blend of both. I absolutely love recruiting. It's one thing I have a massive passion for, but I just knew instantly when I was going through the recruitment process with Ocado that its culture and its values and the way we operate, and like you're just never afraid to ask questions. Doesn't matter who you are in the business, that hierarchy just doesn't exist in terms of just asking for help. So for me, it was definitely a blend of both. Ben or Fires, I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, just echo that really, sort of personally as well. I was applying for Ocado about 12 months ago now, and looking at the rotational structure of the grad scheme really attracted me, as well as Ocado as a whole. I think I've did a law undergrad degree and then sort of a business management master's, and I've never really known what exactly I want to do. And going into sort of a rotational structure where I can again get sort of 4 different perspectives on Ocado as a whole, it will just be great for me. And this, as Harp said earlier, sort of no 2 days are the same. We're constantly innovating, sort of constantly changing, whether that be sort of internal structure as well. And it's just a very exciting time for Ocado. It's still a young company. It's actually younger than me, just about 22 years old. So yeah, I just think there's a lot more to come from Ocado, and the rotational structure for me was a great pull, to give me a holistic view of the business as a whole.
Amazing. Fires, did you want to add to that at all?
Yeah, I was just going to say it is the perfect opportunity if you don't know what you want to do coming out of uni, doing a graduate program, because you get to try out so many different things, see what you like and see what you don't like, and figure things out. Gives you a bit more time to figure out what you want to do for the rest of your life.
Yeah, love that. Definitely gives you that. The next one's probably more aimed at you, Ben. So I submitted my application for the business management graduate program 4 days ago. When should I expect an update?
That would be me. You will hear, if it was in the last 4 days, you'll hear by the end of the week. Yeah, my team and I are currently going through applications. We're getting there slowly but surely, but obviously, as you could probably understand, there's a huge influx. It will just take a while, but by the end of the week, if you applied in the last 4 days, yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, we always say kind of give us a week and you'll definitely hear back from us either way. What is the deadline to apply for graduate roles? So what you'll see with a lot of the vacancies we've advertised, we've highlighted when the assessment days are. It's rolling applications at the moment. We have assessment days November and December for some of our schemes, but we'll also be doing assessment days early next year as well. So you haven't missed any opportunity. It's a rolling application process, but I would say probably towards more kind of February time, we'll be looking to slow down, just because that will be the end of kind of when we'll be running our final assessment day. So the sooner you get your application in, the better for sure.
Yeah.
And then the next question was Bonnie. Hi, Bonnie. Can we apply to more than one graduate scheme, e.g. software engineering and engineering? Totally appreciate that you may be kind of stuck between 2 grad schemes and what you want to do. What I would say in that case is reach out. I mean, you'll have our contact details. Reach out to me or Ben, because we are part of that talent acquisition team. If you've got specific questions about software engineering or engineering, we can tackle those and maybe help you decide which one you may want to go for. But what I would say is maybe if you do have a preference for one, make that application, but make it clear during that you're kind of open to both opportunities. It won't kind of draw you out on any other process. It will just mean that at least you're getting through the process with us and you're engaged and in conversation with us. And then we can work on a conversation where we think you may be best fit, but also where you may have a passion. So in terms of the the process, you'll only go through one process because you wouldn't be attending an assessment day for both. But it may just mean throughout the process, you may just have that understanding that you may lean towards software engineering or engineering. But what I would say to that is try and make one application, but make it clear that you're open to both, because then at least we know from the beginning. And then the next question is around sponsorship. So I think I've answered that we do offer sponsorship. And then there was the question about 4 days. I've seen a few questions about the analyst scheme as well. So the analyst scheme, we are still working on finalising the logistics on all of that, and the process for all of that as well. So we'll come back to you in terms of when that's advertised. It will have all the details. In terms of the application process, it will be very much the same. It will be kind of an application process with the motivational questions that Ben mentioned at the beginning, with the same testing and the same assessment centre as well. There may be specific tests during the assessment centre like we have for software engineering. But other than that, the structure will be the same. We're super excited to get the analyst scheme on very soon. So as soon as we can do that, we'll kind of let you know. In terms of reaching out to myself, Ben, or Fires, please link in with us on LinkedIn if that would be your preference. If not, I'm sure we can get our email addresses out to you all as well. So we'll speak to the event organisers about that. Just some lovely messages. In terms of the links for the schemes, do we have a general link to our careers website on this presentation, Ben, at all? Do you know?
Not that I'm aware of, but I can put one. I can put one in the chat now.
Yeah, so Ben can just put in the chat now a link to our careers website, which will take you to all of the scheme specifics. Yeah, I can put my LinkedIn name here, so please feel free to link in with me whenever you would like. I think. And there's no age limit. I saw a question around, is there an age limit? Absolutely not. And there is no age limit at all. Please feel free to make your application. We're an inclusive employer, so we definitely want to, accept applications no matter what, when you kind of graduated or what your age is. So yes, please feel free to make those applications for sure. I'm glad you found it interesting, Lucy. That's great. And Ben's just popped in the link to our careers website as well. Yeah. But yeah, there's no limit. Please feel free to apply. There's no age limitations at all. And our data scheme will be going live soon. I can see there's a few questions about the data scheme as well. But I think that's most of the questions covered. Unless anyone has, I can see someone typing, so maybe we just give everyone a few more minutes. But as I said, Ben's also put his email address, so if anyone has any questions after this session, please feel free to reach out. And we're really excited and looking forward to hopefully these conversations turning into some applications as well. And we really hope you've enjoyed kind of listening to us as well. You know, having Fires here and Faze and Ben here, who are currently on grad schemes as well, and hearing kind of their insights and their stories, we hope was really interesting for you. So I would be interested in the analytics grad scheme, but since it is not open yet in the process, can I make an application for BM? And then I would, if you're interested in the analyst scheme, I would probably wait and hold out for that to be advertised. It won't be long, but if you have a passion for the analyst scheme, I would hold out and do that. But if you have an interest for business management, please feel free to make that application as well. Most definitely. But yeah, you feel free to make the application for business management if you have an interest there. Unfortunately, I just don't have a time frame of when the analyst scheme will be up, but it will be fairly soon. So keep your eyes peeled for sure. Are there any opportunities for marketing? Priya, are you able just to kind of give a little bit more context? Do you mean kind of marketing in terms of work, or? Yeah, I mean, we'll speak to the event organisers if the slides can can be shared, and we'll just speak internally about that as well. But I can't see that being an issue because a lot of that is advertised and out anyway. So what you will find is a lot of the details that we had on the slide you'll be able to find on our website as well. So you'll definitely be able to see that. So Ben, I can see Priya's just asked a question about the business management scheme and if there was any marketing opportunities within that.
In the marketing department, don't believe directly, but there are certain roles, such as I remember in the group ops, looking at one myself, actually, there was one to do with the social media. So you would be kind of involved with our digital engagement team, and you kind of, your rotation would be sort of looking at the social media, how we can kind of raise awareness for Ocado Group as a brand. And also tasked with sort of making videos as well. So elements of marketing, I'm not sure directly there is solely a marketing one, but there are certainly rotations that you could undertake that would involve a lot of marketing, some more than others as well. But no, that's certainly, there are marketing teams, and that is certainly a rotation that you could kind of channel yourself towards.
Amazing. And then I've just seen Daisy, thanks for your question. So you asked a question around, do you find that many candidates that have just graduated from their undergrad degree get a role on the graduate scheme that same year, or are mainly masters or more experienced individuals selected? So that isn't on our selection criteria at all. So it doesn't matter either way. I think for us, it's more around your responses to those motivational questions about why Ocado and why this program, and also how you come across in that video interview as well. So more around how you come across in terms of, you know, how are you delivering that passion and talking about us as a business and why you want to work for us. So it all comes down to that researchers in us as a business. So our criteria isn't to select people with more experience or masters. Definitely not. We have a massive wide range. I promise you that. So yeah, please don't get hung up on whether, you know, you've done a master's, or you've got more experience, or if you've just graduated. We take applications across the board and we review them and go through the process with them all fairly. I think, you know, the best person to speak around this is also Ben, because he's the one that's currently reviewing the application. So he can also let you know that he wouldn't screen on the basis of that either.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the sole thing, we're not looking at sort of like your name, where you're from, your age, all of that's pretty much irrelevant to us at your initial application. All I'm looking through is sort of your motivational questions in your CV. I'm sort of checking that you've got the required degree, firstly on your CV, and sort of looking at sort of what experience you've got. Understandably, like as a student, it might not be much experience, but that doesn't necessarily hold much weight. I would definitely advise you to sort of put some time and effort into your motivational questions. As we've been kind of saying beforehand, these are kind of what we're after. We're looking for passionate individuals that have sort of taken time to research us. They know what they're talking about, and they have a kind of inherent hunger to want to work at the Ocado Group. So yeah, all of that other stuff, it doesn't matter, any age, please just apply. Yeah, we welcome all applications.
Fabulous, thank you, Ben. Yeah, I've seen some questions around, you know, if I'm currently studying a software engineering master's, would that affect my application as you don't have many projects? Absolutely not. Like I said, it's all around that passion and energy that you can get throughout the application process is what we're looking for. That's most important to us. So yeah, please don't see that as a barrier to make any applications at all. As Ben said, we review all of these applications on the basis of, you know, how you come across in the video interview, how you do on the online testing, what your motivational answers look and feel like. So yeah, there's a range of other things that we would look at. Definitely more important than kind of what you've been doing, for sure. So one of the questions, this is Foster. Yep, perfect. I've answered that one. So I've been successful in the first stage of my application, hoping to complete the 40 minutes test soon. Amazing. Can't wait for that. So thank you for making your application. That's great news. Cool. So I think that is most of the questions done. Maybe we just give everyone a minute to see if you've got any last minute ones, as we've got a few minutes before we close up. I'm really, really glad that you've all enjoyed today. I got some lovely messages there. So thank you, everyone. Fires. So Vonnie, looks like they've asked a question. I don't seem to see any coding language requirements for the software engineering scheme. Do you recommend preparing for a certain language or framework?
So I would say for the application process, you don't need any specific language. You can use whatever you're comfortable with. That they're fine with you using any language that you want. In terms of what we use at Ocado, it's mainly Java. We have some Python and on some teams in advanced technology for machine learning, but across the business you'll find it'll be mainly be Java. We're using a bit of Scala, but we're scaling that back to migrating that to Java as well. And there's some C++, but not in very many places. So if you might want to brush up on your Java skills if that's what you want to do your assessment in.
Amazing. And I think we've got time for one more quick question. Ben, this might be a nice one for you to answer because you're assessing the video interviews. Would you give any advice for doing well in the video interviews and presentations?
Yeah, sure. As we've been kind of alluding to for the past hour, kind of do your research. If you could try and tell me something I don't know about Ocado, that would be your ultimate goal, I think. Really delve into kind of the website and kind of what we've been up to. We've got sort of newsletters that go out with sort of exciting new investments that the company might have made, what new initiatives we've got, anything to do with CSR as well. But I think it's really important to be yourself as well. You don't want to sort of change who you are just in order to get a job. As much as kind of we're looking for the right graduates to fill our roles, you guys also need to be looking for the right role for you as well. So it's as much of a two-way process as it can be, really. It's not just us looking, but you should be kind of probing, asking questions as well in the video interview. But I think ultimately, make sure you're prepared, and sort of for like the VidAssess online interviews, make sure you've kind of done your research. You've got a nice quiet room where you're not going to be disturbed, and you can just be yourself and give your answers and just really let your passions shine through, I suppose.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I think it is all about that, isn't it, Ben? I think that's what we really look for. We just want you guys to be yourselves during that video interview. And, you know, the research that you've done on Ocado and that passion will hopefully build up. And we really want to see that as well. We really want to see that you've done your research, you're passionate about us as a business. So that's what we really want to get out of it, is that, you know, do you understand that we're not a grocery retailer, that we're a technology solutions provider? Have you watched the amazing YouTube videos that we've got out there and done your research on us as a brand? So those are the kind of things that we're looking for, and that passion to really be conveyed across in the video interview for sure.
Absolutely.
Perfect. So I'm conscious it's a hard stop at 3 p.m. and we're approaching that time, but thank you everyone so much for your questions. We've really, really enjoyed talking to you. Like Ben said, it's a shame that we couldn't see all of you, but this is the world of virtual, I guess, at the moment. But yeah, really, really enjoyed speaking to you all. And we really hope that if this has enlightened you and interested you in Ocado, that you do go ahead and look at our careers and make your application. But we're here to support you through it. So yeah, make the connections with us and we'll definitely be able to support.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, just from me, guys, thanks for tuning in today. And yeah, as Harp said, sort of a hard stop at 3 now. Thanks for your time. But any questions, kind of, you know, you've got our emails or LinkedIn, please do fire away, and we'll be more than happy to assist you. And I'll be looking out for your names in the applications inbox shortly. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everyone. See you soon. Bye.